Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm going to be doing my review for The Walking Dead, Season 9, Episode 16, The Storm. So if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. That way you don't miss more Walking Dead content from me moving forward. Now let's begin. We start this episode off with a voiceover from Ezekiel. I guess he's radioing to the other communities, informing them that the kingdom has officially fallen. It's been about a month or so since the Pike death scene at the end of the previous episode, and we got a united force of both Alexandria and Hilltop to escort the Hilltop people to Alexandria. Now, I like this idea. The kingdom falling makes sense because we don't have to spend as much time there. Probably makes sense for behind the scenes. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time, renting out the space where they filmed the kingdom. So it makes sense budget-wise and storytelling-wise. So then we got some conversations between some of our group on the road. We first get a conversation between Magna, Yumiko, and Michonne. And they inform her that, one, there's a council now at Hilltop, and that they've sent letters to Maggie to inform her of the situation involving the communities, but she has not sent a letter back in any time recently. So I like that. They're tying up loose ends with Maggie and explaining why she hasn't been brought back into the fold. Then we got a scene between Alden and Lydia, which I actually really like this, where they are walking and they see a group of walkers out in a field, and she's questioning Lydia, asking if that's her people. And I understand where he's coming from because he's frustrated. He's still grieving over the death of Enid, so I can understand where he's coming from, and he calls her out, and then Daryl shoots back at him saying, leave her alone. Well, I understand where he's coming from. I see both sides of this, because I can see why he's frustrated, he's grieving, so you can't take out all your anger on him, but I understand, dude, calm down. Then you got a scene between Daryl and Carol. I know people are talking about this setting up their relationship. I do not see that as this. I think this is an interesting moment, because we got the two of them where she's telling him, all I see when I look at Lydia is Henry, and you got Daryl saying, what do you look at when you look at me? It's a very good moment. I really like that moment between the two of them. Just good friendship building moment. Bring the two of these characters back together as friends. Then you got a moment later on down the road where Daryl kills a few walkers with his arrows. I feel like the way they killed the snow walkers felt a little too easy. I feel like the skulls broke too easy. Maybe it's just me and don't know how it really work. But you got him and Ezekiel who go out to collect the arrows. And Ezekiel has this moment with him where he says, look, me and Carol are going to Hilltop. I appreciate everything you've done for us, but would you mind giving us a little space so maybe we can grieve together and, have time just for us? Now, I understand why people don't like Ezekiel in this moment, and I can see why they're saying, oh, he's the villain. But you also got to take it from his perspective. He just lost his son, and because of that, he also lost his relationship. So you got to take it from that aspect. Now, in the midst of this, you got Lydia, who ends up running off into the woods, and she comes face to face with a walker. And now she's dealing with her own mental issues because she's blaming herself for the deaths of everybody at the Pikes. And everybody in the communities doesn't really like her. So I really like how they got her dealing with all this kind of stuff and this emotion of her blaming herself. I like that. It makes sense for the character. It makes sense for the story. And I just like that. But you got her going out to the woods. She finds a walker and takes off her glove and pretty much is about to let the walker bite her. Now, I love this moment, and there's a lot of reasons. One, because it fits the character and the story, why she would be doing this. She doesn't want to live anymore. But then it also calls back to the comics. For those of you who are TV-only fans, in the comics, Carol died in a similar way. But then you got everybody returning back to the group, and everybody realizes, okay, we got to find a place to find shelter for the night, because the storm's coming and we won't make it. So this is one of the things I really liked about the episode, is they decided, okay, there's only one place close enough to go, and we got to go there, and it's the sanctuary. But you got them holding up there, and you got some good back and forth between Daryl and Carol while they're at the sanctuary. One of my favorite moments of the episode is where Carol's telling him, I'm scared right now. I feel like I'm going to turn back into Terminus Carol. Now, I know fans have been begging for Terminus Carol to come back, but I like how she finally confirms, I don't like that person. That person scares me. I don't want to be that person. And I really hope Kang and the writers are smart and have her go down this route of her fighting back this demon that she doesn't want to be this person. I really hope they don't bring back Terminus Carol. But then we have like a meeting of the minds where they decide, okay, we got to figure out a way out of here. We can't hold up here forever, and the storm's going to be lasting for a while. So we got to figure out a way out. And in like during the meeting of the minds, you got a moment where Aaron's like, if Rick's bridge would have made it, we could have used that. I really like how they did that subtle callback. Like, man, if Rick was still here, he would have been able to save us. Like, I love that moment. That's probably one of my favorite moments. But then they ultimately decide the only way to get back to Hilltop and to get everybody safely back is to go through the Whisperer's territory. So I really like how they added that in there. It added a sudden sense of urgency and a sudden sense of danger and possible conflict with the Whisperers. Now, from there we go to them. They decide to go to the border, like I said. Now, when they get to the border, one of my favorite scenes of the episode is when they pass the Pikes and they just have that emotion on their face of everything and everybody they've lost. I love how they film that because you could just see the sadness in like Ken Ezekiel's face as they look at the Pikes. But they cross over the border, and their main purpose here is they need to cross a lake that's in the Whisperer territory in order to get to the way station and then get to Hilltop. Now, we got them crossing the border, of course, we know that, but as they're crossing the border, they end up getting attacked by walkers right as they get to the wake. Now, I think this is a good moment. You got some good tension-filled moments as they get to the lake and they see the walkers start to emerge from the snow, and you got everybody freaking out. I think it worked out pretty well. They got the families that they need to get across, so it was a very good tension-filled moment. You got Daryl and them fighting them off. Daryl is the main one we see actually fighting, but it was a good tension-filled moment. In the chaos of all of this, you got Lydia who runs off again, and Carol goes off to find her. And she wants Carol to kill her. Now, I like this because you got a moment where Lydia's just saying she can't do it anymore. She's tried living this way and she can't. She can't go back to her people. These new people blame her for what happened to their loved ones. She just can't do this anymore. And she asks Carol to please kill her. And I love this moment. And I feel like it was done very well between the two of them. And Carol ends up saying, no, I'm not going to kill you. She lets her live and say, you got to live with this. You got to live with what's happened. You got to move on. So I really like that. It was a good moment. But then you got a moment between Lydia and Daryl, which I really liked. I like the bond that they're making with these two characters, with the father-daughter kind of relationship. And then you got Carol and her getting a mother-daughter relationship. So I really like how they're adding those two things in there. And they're just bonding more, and Daryl informs her that he's moving on to the Alexandria in the morning, and she'll be coming with him if she wants it, and they decide to both go to Alexandria. So that was a good move there. Then we got a moment between Carol and Ezekiel that's probably the most important of the episode, in which they break up pretty much. Carol decides to break it off of Ezekiel, which I feel like I said, I saw it coming. It realistically, parents who was a kid don't usually stay together. So I saw this coming, and I really liked how they ended it. I do think there's a chance they'll get back together. Now, while all this is going on, we got another storyline going on in Alexandria with the snowstorm getting heavier. They can't survive in the houses for much longer without heat, so they decide to take people out and divvy up houses with fireplaces, and that way people can stay warm during the snow. Which brings into an interesting point where they have to let out Negan from his cell, because where he is, he would freeze to death. So I like how they add that into the tension-filled moments. So they decide to go to the church building to stay warm and whatever. Now, the church scenes were okay. I understand why they needed them. They had to have this moment later on to build up to this moment. But my biggest thing that frustrated me with this moment is some of the scenes, especially the Negan ones. I get people felt like the father, not the father thing was funny. I get the joke, but it just came off cringy. I get it. Negan's the jokester. He makes jokes. He does all this stuff. But it just, I hated that joke. It just bothered me too much. It just was cringy. The what's going on at the when she's going for checkups. Okay, I like that was fine, but that was just cringy. But then you got Judith, who's worried about dog. I guess Daryl left dog to be watched. Now, the biggest plot hole I have here is, okay, they told you to watch dog, but when you went to these houses or when they moved you to these places, how come you didn't have dog with you? Why wasn't he at the house with you then? I feel like that was a plot hole that they kind of screwed up on, and they should have implied more about. But then people start smelling stuff, and the fireplace explodes, and they have to leave the building. So that they decide to go to one of the other houses. Now that's fine. So they decide to leave, and they go out to the other houses, or they're trekking to the other houses in the middle of the snowstorm. They all tie each other together so they can stay together in the heavy snow. But while they're walking, Judith hears dog barking and runs off to save dog. Now, the thing that frustrates me the most here, and I think is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard of, because Judith runs off, and no one else runs after her except for Negan. And you just hear Rosita yell, "Oh, just let him go. He'll be fine. Who cares?" This is the daughter of Rick Grimes. And she just ran out into the middle of a snowstorm. And you're going to no one is going to go running after but Negan. That just creates a huge plot hole for me. Like, what the F were the writers thinking when they wrote this? But you got Negan who goes after. I get it. They probably did it for plot armor reasons. But Negan goes after her. He finds her and dog and rescues them and brings them to safety. Great moments. Great stuff. I thought it really improved on the episode. Then you move on and you got Michonne going to meet with Negan, now recovering because he got hurt while rescuing Judith. And I really like these scenes. And one of the things that I like that happened here is it's kind of like a callback to season 8 finale, because both times Negan is lying in a bed injured. However, this time he's the good Negan, whereas last season finale he was the evil Negan. So I really like how they kind of have that kind of going full circle there. It was a good moment, and you got Negan and them going back and forth. Then you get a time jump, and we see Alpha and Beta in the woods after it's probably now spring, and you got Beta mentioning to her that, you know, time away from the group has been good for you. So I'm assuming they either left or she left, and that time that she spent away has been good for the group. Now, I guess due to some of the things that has happened, Beta now decides to punish her, and he gets in a few lashes at her. So at the end of the episode, we get another scene between Ezekiel, and he's on the radio talking with Judith. You know, this is a time jump after the snow has melted, and you just hear them going back and forth. He's talking about how, you know, the snow's finally melting. We might be able to see each other again. So I'm assuming that the snow caused them not to see each other for a while, made like the roads impassable. But I really like how you got these two having this bond here. I thought it was cute. But then you got the big cliffhanger at the end of the episode, where they both leave their radios, and at the hilltop, the radio on Ezekiel's end, and you hear someone on the other end. It's a woman's voice, and I couldn't make out everything that they say, but it's like they're calling out, asking if someone's there, and then it fades to black, just focusing in on the radio. Probably coming to set up some stuff from the comics, which I'll get into in another video, but I thought it was a good kind of tiny cliffhanger finale. Very good, very well handled, and I really liked how they ended the episode. But overall, if I had to give this episode a rating, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Nothing higher. So yeah, guys, that's my review for The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 16, The Storm. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon. That way to miss any more future Walking Dead content from me moving forward. This has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.